What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We have a little bit of a different video for you guys today. If you don't know, Alex and I hosted the Deadpool's Marvel Snap Conquerors event. And, well, there was a lot of Bucky Barnes on turn 6, if you get my drift. Maybe some Colossus and Wolfsbane. There's a lot of bots in the game, so I thought I would highlight the great action in some of the player v player matchups and just the overall highlights, if you will, of the 2-hour event and condense it down to a bit of a shorter version. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this, if you want to see more stuff like this, and let's go ahead and hop on in. So, Alex, man, okay, here's the deal. Went to the zoo, and I passed the elephants. I did, and I tried to tell them as loud as I can that Alex hates you.
Yeah, I think it's a little sad that you went out of your way to yell at elephants, first of all. I found a mouse in my house. I caught it, and I actually bought a hamster cage for it. My wife's like, you can't do that, idiot.
Speaking of rhinos, Alex, I don't know how to say this, but your skin, it's kind of the texture of a rhino.
I'm way ahead of you there, bud.
Today's the day. It's Marvel Snap Conquerors. It's Deadpool domination. Are you ready?
I was born ready, baby.
Dude, your face looks freaking ridiculous, bud.
I know, man, but listen, let's not talk so much about my facial care routine. Let's take a moment to appreciate the amazing creators that are going to be in this event, including Dara, Nina, Regis, Pawnee?
Yeah, I get it. We've got 14 of the biggest creators in the world. I'm pumped.
Can you just remind me what the limited time game mode is and what it's all about?
Yeah, but it's the new mode. You're going to be wagering bubs instead of cubes. You know what? Like the thing that Wolverine says, hey, bub, to progress. And you go from like plate to plate. You like food, man. You talk about it all the time. And you can be working from cereal to chimichangas and more.
Oh, man, that actually sounds pretty fun. So the competitors have like 2 hours to collect as many bubs as they can to be crowned champion.
Exactly. But I got a follow-up question. What time is it over there in Canada?
It's 3:01 there, bud.
3:01? Dude, we're live.
We're live?
Oh my gosh, we made it. We're here. Hello, Alex. We're good to go. Oh, hello to you as well. And welcome to the next Marvel Snap Conquers Deadpool domination. Alex, we have made it to Snapchat, to here. How you doing, man? I'm Cozy Snap.
I'm Alex Kocha, and guys, yes, we could not be more excited to be bringing you guys Deadpool's domination here today. It's going to be an absolutely remarkable event, and I could not be happier to be sharing it with my co-host of the Snapchat, Cozy Snap.
Where Deadpool is the theme because the diner is the new limited time game mode. And buddy, I had the chance to see the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, and I kid you guys not, it's incredible. It's a masterpiece. I was seeing it live with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh at Comic-Con, and it was awesome. I was absolutely thrilled. And again, the future is bright, my friend.
That sounds incredible, Cozy. Can I get a star rating from you?
5 stars. Like today's format, buddy, for today's event. If you guys don't know, it is going to be a 2-hour event with 14 of the Deadpooliest content creators. Now, this is going to be a solo competition that cannot rely on teams.
Yeah, so the first person to get the most bobs within 2 hours will be crowned the winner. It's a solo competition. If they bust out, they only have a couple buy-ins in order to get back into the game.
Well, man, all I know is that we've got ourselves a absolutely stellar lineup of different content creators, and I'm pumped because we have some that play a lot of Marvel Snap, and we have others that are more new to the game, right? And so we're gonna go ahead and introduce these awesome, talented individuals. Today, we've got ourselves all the way from Italy, Atrix. We have Chris, who said he saw the movie last night. It's gonna give him an edge on the competition. Welcome in, Chris, a newer Snap player, but he plays a little bit. Dan's Gaming, the variety streamer himself. He's an OG coming back from the Justin TV days. Even has a Twitch emote himself. We have Das Medi, who is giving me Gambit for every single Marvel answer that I asked him. He loves Gambit, X-Men 97, and if you guys know Lyric, it's his brother. And then there's Dexter, who's most known that his best friend is Cozy. Thank you, Dexter. And he's a Cerebro Airshim lover, but now he hates Airshim. Which one is it, Dexter? Dara, the Pumper. His favorite card in the game is Dr. Octopus. His least favorite card, most hated, is Dr. Octopus. And then, for those that don't know, Disguised Toast. If you don't know, 4 million YouTube subs. He is an absolute card gamer coming from the roots of it. He's done a space assassin game. A lot of history here with Disguised Toast. Excited to have him to today's event.
And there's even more fantastic participants here today, including FanFan, a fantastic variety streamer, Jeff Hoagland, who needs no introduction for a talented deck building, and of course, one of the most competitive card gamers on the planet. We also have KM Best, one of the highest MMR players in Marvel Snaps Beta, Nina, recent dog mom to one of the cutest doggies in the world, Milo. We also have Pawnee, we have Regis, one of the nicest card gamers on the planet, and of course, Sacriel, a variety streamer focused on educational content.
So let's talk about the format a tad bit more. They're going to have 12 million bubs. Now, the cool thing is in the game mode, it's lifetime bubs. That's how you get the reward track. But today, it's current bubs. So you can't go crazy. You can't go all in all of the time. It's going to matter how much you currently have. They're going to have 12 million to start out, Alex, as they go up the rewards track. They'll get about 76,000 more. And they can option to buy 12 million more at one point during the competition.
Yeah, the strategy is really important here because you don't want to bust very early. What you want to do is you want to accumulate as many bubs as you can, because whoever accumulates the most is going to be the winner of the event. And that's the thing about Deadpool's Diner Cozy. It's all about risk and reward. How many of your bubs are you willing to risk for that greater payoff if you happen to win the game?
Well, we're going to be jumping into the games here, and I can't wait to see. I know there's going to be some meta stuff with Airshim, Darkhawk, but I can't wait to see what the newer Snap players are going on, right? The Odins, the White Tigers, you guys have been there. The Spectrum on going decks. Like, what were you playing as we're going to be jumping into our first game?
Yeah, I was playing a lot of like Devil Dinosaur when I first got started, to be honest with you. And while I know Dexter's not running Devil Dinosaur, I remember very fondly playing some of my beginner decks and honestly having a tremendous time in Marvel Snap. And I can't wait to see what Dexter does here as he goes after the Abby, I'm sure.
He's got himself a Cassandra Nova, the villain of Deadpool and Wolverine, and an Ajax deck, who I'm surprised Dexter is going the Affliction kind of route here. Excited to see what he's got as he goes against Pawnee.
It actually makes me really excited to see people bringing like new different types of decks. There was an entire possibility that 12 people would have brought 12 Airshim decks, but here we are with an Ajax Hazmat deck. I can't wait to see what Dexter's able to do with it.
All right, so we have Thien on the other side. Obviously, they're both going to be playing some form of Kitty Pryde. You have Asgard to go to as well as Abby, so less turns to try to win that Asgard for the draw, which in Dexter's case is going to be pretty advantageous.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting to see here that he's actually matched up against Pawnee. So, like, this is right off the top here, a mono competitor match here, where these bubs, I mean, if you think about it, this is like a divisional match in some sort of, a sporting event here. Dexter's got to get the dub, I'm sure.
So turn 4 here, he's got a Ravona that he could play down. Earlier you play Cassandra, typically the better, so he might go cast on Asgard, is what I would expect to see, because you don't want to go Ravona and Hazmat. Could go the Mobius, but I don't see Pawnee having too many of these cost energy cheating cards at the moment.
Yeah, so Cassandra Nova is the card that you can achieve in Deadpool's Diner, and it's a remarkably powerful card. It's actually, it's incredible, to be honest with you. And one of the things, though, is that it's really advantageous if you're playing against an Airshim player to play at any time. But if you're not against an Airshim player, you generally want to get her out early, because that's where she has the most impact.
One thing I want to make note of here is, if you guys can already see, we have a million bubs on the line. Keep in mind, they have 12 to go with. We're starting off pretty hot here. On turn 4, 5, and 6, it automatically doubles the stakes. And then each player is going to be able to double the stakes themselves. Dexter, I can't even say my good buddy's name, is probably asking himself, why me? Why am I the first one to be commentated on? But brilliant play there with the Juggernaut to secure Asgard.
It's Juggernaut's one of those surprise cards that I think a lot of people forget about. Hasn't been meta for a little while here. There used to be like those Surfer, Juggernaut Storm decks you used to see all the time. The idea of running just a surprise Juggernaut, honestly, it can be a turn 6 winner. It's probably one of the most underrated cards in Marvel Snap right now. It's been 3/3 for the longest time I can remember, but that ability is just truly remarkable.
So we're seeing Pawnee here separate both Thina and Angela. We can see a look at her hand. She's got Sage, Darkhawk, and Mystique here. With a turn 7, that's a ridiculous hand that Pawnee has. This is actually going to be pretty tough for Dexter to win with what he has in his hand. The Hazmat being the biggest play, because Pawnee's starting to put a lot of cards on the board.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, remember, Ajax can really pop off here, and Dexter's doing a really good job of holding on to this Hazmat, allowing Pawnee to fill the board, because the advantage to Hazmat is the more that's on the board, the harder that she can hit, and it's also notable that Ajax is an ongoing card, and so playing it down at this point in time and then following up with Hazmat will give Dexter a chance to really, so I mean, hey, anything can happen, I suppose.
So we come back here to the Dex and Pawnee game after we see Jeff scoop up double what he entered with. And again, this is going to be tricky, and it's kind of anybody's game here because Cassandra Nova, the only reason she wasn't really played early was we had that Juggernaut play with Asgard. Here goes the Ajax boosting up. We've got the Mobius. She plays Cassandra into Kitty, into Sage. And look at all that individual power getting Sage to at least be a 3-6.
Yeah, if you're Dexter here, do you think about retreating? He's got a handful of rocks. I mean, if you're Ben Brode, you snap here. I mean, that's a famous take there. And hey, listen, I've seen it. I've seen a handful of rocks snap be very successful. It's well documented. But I think Dexter might be in trouble. I think he's going to think about going hard right here.
I mean, this Cassandra's nearly worthless. I mean, because of the power that she's going to be able to drain. But I get the kind of route he's going. But it's going to be interesting because that Ajax is going to hyper boost up. But will it be enough to conquer an Angela copycat lane? We do know that Pawnee has a Darkhawk. We don't know what else she has in hand at the current moment. But Dexter's going for the old try to win all three locations at once approach.
I'm not sure what the ordering on his cards were, but he might even consider intentionally hitting his own cards with Hazmat based on the order of his play to make Ajax go higher. But he has to ensure he's winning at least two of those locations. The Iron Man's going to get hit very hard with Hazmat. It looks like he's going to do a good job of flipping this.
Massive play here as he pushes down a huge Hazmat, taking the middle and the left side and tying the right. But the middle is claimed back from Thena, but Dexter still, with that power difference, is going to claim the W.
Wow, that's 2 million buffs for Dexter here on a fantastic tiebreaker there. And I mean, I love those types of turn 6 and 7s where like it comes right down to the flip there. And I don't know, man. I'm just thinking that like I just love the fact that Dexter tried to flip a lane with Ajax.
It's that big brain deck, right, Alex? And we take that big brain to the big brain himself. Disguised Toast here playing Chorizo Joe.
Yeah, it's so funny to see, like, he's got a big smile on his face. He's having an absolute blast here. And that's a Cassandra Nova coming down here. Absolutely soul-crushing at 19 power.
And this is actually Disguised Toast versus KM Best. For those that don't know, Chorizo Joe is KM Best. We have creator versus creator. Can a man who's been playing since the beta defeat a man that is back playing for the first time, I would guess, in a little bit? And look at this absolute hand for Toast here. He's got Mockingbird, Blob, Black Bull, and Thing. Very interesting play lines all together, and this is a crazy matchup here.
And this is what makes Cassandra Nova so punishing. Blob can, mitigate the effect of Darkhawk, but it's not going to do anything that Cassandra Nova. Nova's damage has already been done, and Blob's going to eat more cards now. It's going to get less power, and it's not going to impact Cassandra Nova at all. And here's the bounce from Werewolf, and we got a little more space, and it looks like
the Black Bolt. Love the Black Bolt with KM's deck because that Hazmat play right there.
Yeah, right there. That was huge.
Huge discard, right? So now we're on turn 6 or 5, I believe. And this is where I would probably go with the safe Blob play. Mockingbird's down to 2 after that. And then most likely, I think Blob was from there. Ajax in hand with Hood, but Hazmat is gone. Toast has every chance here to secure a W.
What's interesting as well is you have Blob and you also have New York. And remember, Blob's ongoing ability has been removed, which will allow him to move Blob to New York in order to dodge like a Shang-Chi play or a Shadow King, which I don't remember if our boy Cam Best has in his deck. I don't think he did. However, it's worth noting here that it is still a viable play to move Blob at this point in time.
I think this is a no-brainer Blob play. You don't know what your opponent has, so you might want to not give them priority. He's retreating. He's being safe, and I think that he had himself a phenomenal chance to win this. Sometimes looking at how many cards are left in your opponent's hand is vital, because you can see that Werewolf by Night wouldn't have that much power to get gained with only a couple cards.
It can be very different.
I'm hungry now, man. I'm getting hungry. We got to move on. But so you get a little bit of mayo in there, surprisingly enough. But moving on, we got Regis here, who is having riveting static the gameplay. Okay, we have Scarlet Witch going down against Elite Goldfish, Elite Goldfish here, playing a Loki gamer. And this is Disguised Toast, who is Elite Goldfish. I can tell just from the Loki in the hand. Toast versus Regis, and Regis claimed the victory for 20 million bubs. I wonder how Toast is feeling right now. I wonder what the reaction on Toast's face right now as a brutal awakening of welcome back to Snap a little bit. This guy's Toast and all the learning lessons that he's gone through. We've obviously seen some stuff here from Dara, from Dexter, from Nina, from Pon. Anything surprising you so far before we look at the leaderboard here?
What really surprised me was that last Dara play. Had he played Juggernaut, he would have lost. He would have knocked over a -1 Iron Man. But at the end of the day, what's really surprising me is the variations of decks we're seeing. We're seeing a ton of different archetypes, a ton of different decks. Ajax, one of the new cards in Marvel Snap. We're seeing some Arishem. We're seeing literally everything, and every single match has been high stakes. We're seeing the bobs start to accumulate. We're seeing the numbers get bigger, Cozy. It's going to come down to the finish, I'm sure.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard. Let's go and see the current positions of current bubs. Now, guys, this is going to change. This is going to change very quickly because keep in mind, you can really snowball or lose a snowball of the bubs that you have. Dara's in first place with that last win we just saw, 547 million, followed by Jeff and Nina. So a lot of different ups and downs there. My personal vote, my co-host from Last Conquerors, the Dexter, is in fourth place. We have Atrix, Kane Best, Regis. Anything surprise you here?
So far, I mean, it's how fast the things are changing. We just saw Jeff get kind of jumped by Nina there. We're seeing a lot of movement here. Disguised Toast doing a pretty good job for someone who's, just coming back into Marvel Snap. Dan's gaming, you can never count him out. And at the end of the day, really hoping to see how these bobs can start to accumulate. Because listen, the numbers are just going to get bigger. But even if someone's number one, if they bet a match with 300 million bobs and they lose, they drop all the way to the bottom. It's that risk mitigation, which is a massive skill for this game.
Plenty of time left in the competition, and I'm curious to see if anyone can kind of climb their way out. Now, Alex, if you don't know, alliances are coming to the game next Tuesday, I believe the 30th of July. You can finally pair up with your favorite Snap players, and I'm pumped because I can finally see what you're playing with, what avatars you got, what you got going on, man. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for those social elements. I think that the social side of Marvel Snap it's one of the underrated things. It's really fun to engage with the communities and, of course, build an alliance, get rewards, communicate with friends, and even chat. Can you imagine that chat? Imagine it was just like a whole bunch of emotes and everyone was just, Miss Marveling each other nonstop. That would have been something.
I'm sure that's what it'll look like here. But overall, guys, we're going to be jumping into our next match. It's good to see you for a second, but let's get back to the action. We don't want to miss anything here, and we're going to be starting off with Atrix here as he's going against I Like Bubs, who is Nina is noob, but you can see that there was a retreat. So we did get a creative recreator, but sadly the retreat happened to protect the Bubs here. And so what a strat there, but we're going to go to the next game as we head back into Toast. Let's see, we've left Toast when it wasn't exactly going fantastic, right? So let's go and see as he's transitioned into a hit monkey down with no play, trying to read what we got, but another hit monkey. Might have been some location switch ups here. Maybe I'm missing something. But we have the hit monkey Nova, but does have that build of Blob Mockingbird. What are you seeing here, Alex?
I'm looking at a hand and he's like, I'm snapping. I'm like, man, you snapping on this? The confidence, the absolute confidence in the tempo hit monkeys here. But I gotta say, listen, Mockingbird can win a location by themselves. He's got Shang-Chi is one of those cards that can take people by surprise here. You won't need Kamartaj Shang-Chi, but you do have Blob. He has a couple game winners here, so we'll have to see how he navigates this play.
I'm going to be honest, anytime I personally have Shang-Chi and then one of my other win conditions, I typically snap, right? Like, because you can feel good to throw priority, build up that block by double. Now we have Dexter versus Toast. Wait a second. It's the same match. It's Dexter and Toast. That's who Dean, these names, we're picking up with it. This is Dexter and Toast, and Dexter's probably also trying to figure out what strategy we have going on here. Darkhawk in the middle, double boost by Gwenpool, which is a massive swing. Look at that 14 power Mockingbird. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane there. And even this Mysterio is gonna it's just everything is so good, and it's unfortunate for Disguised Toast that this Darkhawk is gonna get punched right out here. I'm sure we just saw his hand. He's got to be relying on that Darkhawk to actually carry some power. So I'm sure that's going to be a frustrating experience for who is one of the best card gamers on the planet. So we'll have to see what Dex does here.
Massive, massive play here. You're getting not only the Shang-Chi to counter the Darkhawk, but you're also getting the Mysterio to discount your, I don't know, 14 power Giganto Mockingbird down, right? So this is a huge play now where he's going to be able to play Kitty, Nocturne, and that Mockingbird. He's going to have a couple other plays that he can figure out here with an Angela. Great play here by Dex.
And this is one of those situations. We're going from 25 million bubs to 100 million bubs next turn. This is quadrupling the stakes, and this is where this mode can get deceptively crazy with how the stakes accelerate. And so if I'm Disguised Toast, I'm thinking to myself right now, well, it's easy for me to say I'm staring at Dexter's hand, but like, I think you get out of here. You gotta run. This is too many bubs. You gotta leave.
Flee while you can, but look at Toast's hand. He has Mockingbird himself. He has Shang-Chi as well. This is interesting that he didn't go Devil. He goes with a giant blob, and Dexter used that Shang-Chi already, right? We've already seen the Shang-Chi. So it's looking like for sure Toast can win left side. Dexter just said I can lose to this, and now he's definitely thinking what his hat says. Why me? Why me in a blob at Kamar Taj, right? This is going to be kind of interesting because we know it. He doesn't. That Mysterio's in the middle. You got to go for that Monster Metropolis if you're Toast.
Yeah, I think that Monster Metropolis is probably his best bet, but this becomes a situation of, okay, Shang-Chi just got played, right? And this is where Blob is so susceptible to Shadow King, right? And I know that it can be hard to fit every single tech card you want into a 12-card deck, but I feel like Shadow King's been an absolute, like, just game stealer against Blobs. Sure, you like punching him out, but he can sit there as a 6-0. Why not? I still think the advantage is on Dexter's side here. He just has so much additional power across the board.
Keep in mind, though, we have 7. I believe it's Airsham, right? Over there. Is it Airsham? It's not. So does he have the... I'm looking at the power that he could have down here. He has Mockingbird, Shang-Chi. What are you playing with here? Because there's a couple play lines. He's obviously shipping middle would be huge. That 17 power Mockingbird. If he goes Shang-Chi on Monster Metropolis, he wins. There's several ways that Toast can win this right now, but we've seen Toast retreat. Will he do it again?
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Having initiative for Toast makes Shang-Chi more challenging, but I think that if he commits aggressively to one or the other, instead of trying to play both, there's a chance he can win. Because right now, that 14 power Mockingbird on Monster Metropolis is pretty
is this the Shang-Chi? Is this the... It won't matter because the priorities, it's the 14... 13, Dexter knows he's good to go with the 14 and the 15. Yeah. One by more than one with the Mysterio, actually, so he's looking pretty good there. 2 card game Goliaths going head-to-head here of old and Disguised Toast and of current. We are at 56 minutes left, Alex, and we've got ourselves a close matchup with Jeff, with Dare, with Nina leading the pack and a lot of other creators right after them. It's going to be close. We are on the final stretch, guys. Alex, we talk about all the time on the Snapchat for 90 weeks straight, our favorite variants, but we never get to show them off to each other. And so let's go and check it out. Let's take a look at our favorite variants in the game. Alex, we've known each other for a while, but I don't think I've ever asked you, man, like, what are your all-time favorite variants in Snap? I gotta know.
Buddy, my all-time favorite variant, it has to be this Loki. It's inked with the golden border cosmic. It has the golden crackle. It's chef's kiss perfect. It made me a Loki player, Cozy. It's that beautiful.
Dude, speaking of Loki, okay, the Goliath with Ryan Gonzalez, and you've got the Loki and the Mobius in one hand, but it's like a cute cloud trying to ruin everybody's day with the gold border to boot. I don't know how I don't have this as a top 3.
And another one that I absolutely love, Cozy, is my Thanos. Look at this blue cosmic border with the blue Kirby crackle, inked Thanos, and all the stones look incredible as well. Honestly, one of my favorite variants in the game. Cozy, do you have another one for the season or what? It's Deadpool's diner after all.
The new Katana one has got to be probably my favorite. I mean, it's just Deadpool looking BA. He's got the red border and gold background again because, come on, we're not doing the prison background here. Definitely one of my favorites. Dude, do you have any variants that you play the card more because you just like to look at the art so much? If you were to put one in your house, you could put a variant in your house, framed up, you walk, and there's a, bam, big variant. Which one are you picking?
Easy, buddy. It's the Art Germ Captain Marvel. She's standing stoically. It's just such a beautiful piece of art, and honestly, it's absolutely one of my favorite things in Snap.
If we could just pick one artist, right? Just one artist that you roll with. You get every variant in the game. Who you pick?
It's Archer. It has to be. Something about the way Archer's art works. It's just absolutely incredible. I love it, Cozy. You know, you talked about before magic. He has a beautiful magic as well. He's got beautiful everything. Every single Archer variant that comes into the shop, I pick it up. I just can't help myself.
So you're a simp is what you're saying.
What?
For me, I would pick personally. It's a close one. I do like Max Grek. I like Dan Hip. I'm going to go Max Grek. I don't think the guy gets enough love. His art is just cool. It reminds me of like old school, kind of like 90s, 80s video games. Love the art that he goes with, and I own most of his variants. That would be my personal pick.
All right, guys, now it's your turn to get into the chat and let us know what your favorite variant in Marvel Snap is. And while you're at it, let us know who your favorite artist is as well.
Dude, I gotta tell you, there's so many good artists these days in Snap, and at Comic-Con is cool. There's Artist Alley, where you can see all these, and I know that the Snap team is actively there trying to find more variants to bring into the game. It's the side piece to the gameplay, right? The art collection itself, Alex, and good choices over there on the art, Germ. I'm the Max Grek guy. Love to see it, man. Should we get an update on the event, though, and the leaderboard and where everybody stands?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to see how the event is running right now. In terms of the leaderboard, we'll have to see who's on top and who is on the bottom. Currently, we have Dara at number 1 at 1.39 billion bubs. Nina is Noob close behind at 1.27 and 1.26 billion. That is so close, the margins. Jeff is hot on Nina's heels.
Will we see a trillion? Will we see a T? I will have to see. But Disguised Toast in 14th at the moment, followed by Fan, Dance, Chris. You're seeing a lot of people that are first-timers, but I gotta say, hats off, man. They're going up against some pretty stiff competition here, still giving it their all, and all together. Love to see how close the top is here. It's current, and as we get these bigger amounts, it's not that they don't matter. It's that they're going to be trading these big amounts, right? And so if you can secure one giant matchup with these millions, billions in some cases, you're going to be able to get a huge lead in the competition, man. I think so far, I know we got some bot matchups, but I'm excited to see how this thing's going to finish.
We'll have to see what happens if like Nina goes against Jeff or something and they go like billions of bubs in as a wager. That's when things can rapidly change. You got to have the bubs to bet the bubs. So those that are kind of near the top right now, they have the most to gain, but they also have the most to lose.
Are you surprised? I'm a bit surprised that we're seeing a ton of the Kitty Pride and the Hope Summer builds. I think that's probably today's most popular deck, if I would say so, with a good amount of Darkhawk in between. Anything that you think we might see heading into the last hour here?
Man, I'm just surprised we're not seeing as much Airsham. Now, I know the players recognize that with Cassandra Nova in the game, it's hard to play Airsham into those matchups. She can take you by surprise on turn 6. You're highly susceptible to the Darkhawk Mystique package as well. But at the end of the day, we're seeing almost no Airsham across the board. And I guess that's the impact of a card like Cassandra Nova, which effectively is a release valve for that type of card.
I'm distracted. How did they get you down there as an emo by your name, Alex? I mean, they really perfected the body chisel and everything like that. I mean, did you just still for that and they drew that? Or how did that work out? Give them a behind-the-scenes look, if you will.
Yeah, my lawyers are in discussion with them about using my likeness without my permission. But honestly, it's a pretty good look for me. You know, that dad bod it's more chiseled than you can imagine.
I love it. Now, enough about your dad bod, even though I'm sure the viewers would love to hear more about it. Let's continue to talk about what we might see from the top gamers here. I mean, if you're looking at it right now, I put my vote on Dexter for that variant, and you said you went with who now?
I put my vote in for Regis. Now, listen, Regis Kilbin, sure, I'm calling him Regis Skilbin. This guy has the opportunity to flip it around before you know it, okay? So don't you count out my boy Regis just yet.
Absolutely cooking with that comment. I see what you're pulling up there. Actually, chat, let us know, who did you vote for? Curious to see some of the names down below. But yeah, I always love when you mix in, you have the skillful, as I like to try, I'm sweaty gamers. You've got the ones that are like, hey, you know what? Let's just have some fun, see what happens when you mix negative with some crazy cards. And then again, we've got the first timers. So a little bit of everything into today's recipe for the diner, if you will. And again, with this being a limited time game mode, Alex, it's going to be cool that it will come back season after season. They'll be able to make it custom themed and or add different elements to spice it up each time.
Yeah, this is the first iteration of Deadpool's Diner, and I'm looking forward to seeing how, they can improve on it and, of course, bring it back in the future. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain about a free card. Damn it, that's beautiful. And we got one of the best cards of the season, no less, in Cassandra Nova. So, I mean, there's a lot of excitement around that card and what it's going to be able to do to the meta as we cut back to Chris.
versus Pawnee Pun, and we've got ourselves a creator v creator matchup there right now, and here's one, so let's enjoy it while we can. We've got the Hope Summer Shang-Chi, Jeff and Kitty Pryde versus what is a Darkhawk deck.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Nodalvalier is such an interesting kind of location, especially because you're seeing a lot of Ravona right now, and with Ravona comes Mystique Iron Man, and Mystique Iron Man can single-handedly win that location with just ever so slightly a small commitment while staying out of Shang-Chi range. Having Shang-Chi in his hand for Chris is going to allow him to potentially flip that location pretty aggressively, so we'll have to see how it plays out from here.
Now, I got the chance to meet Chris at a event over on the East Coast. Very nice guy, and what I loved right away is it's so cool to see just how many people play Snap. Of all worlds, of all different things. At Comic-Con, I'm seeing that too. People that are creators, people that are playing different types of games that you wouldn't expect, and that's probably one of my favorite things about it is the mixed community that the game has here. Now, Toast is officially at 0 bubs. That's an accomplishment within itself here. But let's go to focus on turn 3 as the Hope Summers goes down on Wakanda.
I think that's just because Toast loves cereal. I mean, obviously a man who loves breakfast, to say the least. So what we have here is we do have Hope Summers coming down. I'm going to expect him to probably, send that Hope Summers skyward as he sends the Kitty Pryde and gets that extra energy. It's going to be interesting how he can utilize that rock in Nodalvalier, because I think that it's one of those low-key, flex plays to throw a rock in there, generate the power. I'm actually really surprised to see. At first I thought maybe that Zabu came from something random, but that Zabu appears to be actually part of his deck.
Nidavalier. I love Marvel and their complicated words. I can't tell you how many different words I've had to study how to say. Some of them I just have no chance. I'm going to be honest here. What's crazy is if you look at the leaderboard, Alex, 6 and up is everything around almost that billion mark, and then we have a pretty steep jump off to reach us there at 7. Not saying it's not possible. We could have some people lose their bubs there towards the top. But interesting how this is playing out as we enter our final 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's just that snowball effect that we talk about with the bubs, right? They just start getting crazy. Once you start rolling in the bubs and you're able to start betting bigger bubs, the stakes just increase wildly, and you're able to get that momentum going really effectively. So when you start at the cereal table, it looks like you're just winning some bubs here and there, but suddenly you start winning millions of bubs. And before you know it, you got the cards unlocked.
Oh my God.
I didn't eat lunch, and I'm telling you, cereal pancakes. It's making. We've had this discussion. Are you a pancakes or waffle guy?
I'm definitely a pancakes guy. Waffles, they seem like they hold too much maple syrup in them. Like I like a lot of maple syrup, but I like that pancakes kind of absorb the maple syrup a little bit, whereas the waffles, it feels like they're just cupping all the maple syrup. It just gets messy. I don't know.
I appreciate the detailed response there. I do. We have Panipon's view of this matchup versus Chris here, and Limbo being the location, extending the game. We don't have a Nocturne on the board. Cassandra's out with Iron Man. I'm loving the Ravona Cassandra decks, because you can have Cassandra hold her own lane and then Iron Man kind of do the rest, right? Iron Man is a huge play into Nidavalier, so I would potentially look at doing that opposed to the Wakanda play. What would you do here?
See, I'm of the thought that you definitely want to put either Mystique or Iron Man into Nodalvalier, but the manner by which you do that, right? If you play Iron Man right, I wonder if you're actually choreographing that you have the Mystique in hand, but maybe we're just overthinking it. But I do recognize that having that Darkhawk under Wakanda does protect it from anything other than like a rogue or an enchantress. They can't Shang-Chi it, so generating that 36 power is huge. We'll have to see how this plays out, but that Mystique mid is going to be incredible. Even with, honestly, this Shang-Chi does not do as much as you would think, because that Mystique is still massive mid.
Look at that absolute Shang-Chi taking down everything on Nidavalier, and now we've got 32-13. Final play, and she can go with the Mystique back in there, and here we go for the massive, this is a 20 power play.
Yeah, I would lean towards letting Mystique solo carry that location. I mean, it gets into the meta of like what your opponent's thinking, but after I Shang-Chi an opponent's board in that way, you'd almost think that they think that, like, okay, they're not going to come back here, right? I'm up a card, they'd have to zoo into it. Do they really commit all their plays here, right? I would tend to see about playing that Mystique mid, right? She's going to get the +5, then double the power of the location, and then possibly attacking left, giving you that opportunity to put pressure on 3 separate locations, or just go all in. Why not? But it does leave you a little susceptible to like an Enchantress on the right side, if that Jeff can move, of course.
Yep, absolutely here as she's really thinking about what to do. I mean,
What do you say?
15 million are at stake here. And looking at the leaderboard, it's staying tight. KM Best has been flirting with the billion. He has the 988. He wants to break the bill. But here we go. The Mystique to Kitty to Sage. A lot of unique power here. We have 2 5s, but other than that, looking clean.
Yeah, so it looks like they made a good read on going mid here because they are committing very heavily to that middle location. Pawnee should be able to flip it. That Mystique is going to do incredible amounts of damage. And as you can see, had she just played Mystique by itself, it would have just been under by about 3 power. And so the Kitty Pride and, of course, the savagely overkill Sage does secure the victory here for Pawnee and those 14.5 million bubs.
310, I would say that's probably pretty good, right? It's always tough when to play Shang-Chi. Sometimes playing it on 5 is good, but, playing it late always has that huge swing effect. So we have Pawnee Pawn taking that W as we go to KM Best against not a average lifeguard, but an excellent lifeguard. And that is Dosmedi.
Yeah, I mean, I would appreciate good lifeguards. That seems like an important task to have here. Playing Valentina, that is a card we've not seen in a while here. And notable that Quinjet's on the board. So we may get something pretty surprising here. White Widow into the Asgard, bringing over the Werewolf by Night. But very notably, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for Asgard to be flipped into the other way here because it's just, you can't fill it on turn 4. So it looks like a pretty clean draw for KM Best.
Massive respect going out to KM again for playing this werewolf deck. I mean, this is definitely different than anything else we've seen right now in the tournament. Everybody playing, their own kind of approach to the game, and this is KM's, right? And we've got an Asgard that we're trying to seal the deal on. Pretty much impossible for the excellent lifeguard here. Should stick to the pool waters, but we've got the Sunspot in the middle. What do you expect as we finish off on 5 and 6 from lifeguard?
Well, we'll have to see what gets drawn here. I think that Cam's definitely going to get the draw, but there's a couple things coming to mind here. First of all, excellent lifeguard. I love the avatar selection because they're wearing goggles. Does a lifeguard need goggles, or are they just so used to the water it doesn't bother their eyes?
They're kind of in the chair. It's all about the look, They kind of just make sure that they look like they're watching people. I think that's what I see half the time. All right, we got the Cassandra Nova getting a copied from Nico. Massive play that you can do there. And it would have been fantastic, but no cards to draw in for the Magneto there.
Yeah, Magneto was a surprising play, but again, we just made a big deal about the Valentina Quinjet combination, which did allow for the Magneto to come down nice and early here. We also have Dream Dimension, which is notable because it's really going to disrupt a hand like KM Best, where, I mean, you want to play a lot of cards, right? You want to get value from that werewolf, but each individual card's getting hit individually by this Dream Dimension. So it impacts these types of decks significantly more than someone just trying to slam down one singular powerful card.
He did get the Ajax, which is nice because he can definitely play into that with that ongoing ability. He's going to obviously try to trigger this werewolf as much as possible right now. We're going to see if he ends up playing that. He'll move the werewolf to the middle. He's thinking about picking up the White Widow and Cassandra, which is obviously that massive play line here. He's got a lot of options. This is an actual extraordinary amount of different play lines that KM can go with.
Yeah, it's literally insane, and it makes it so difficult because with 5 energy especially, to play the Hazmat, I mean, he does not have initiative, so lifeguard here is going to get hit pretty excessively. Never seen the bear before. There's going to be a pretty big hit here on this Hazmat, which is going to be beneficial to KM Best. And look at that board state just kind of drop down and fizzle. That's one of the beautiful things about Hazmat there, as that werewolf continues to bounce. And so this is a pretty dominating position for KM. And note that Cassandra Nova is the copied one, which has significant strength, but he's going to be going with the mid Ajax and attacking 3 different locations.
Some players with Valentina will have a Luke Cage in their deck sometimes to mitigate that power loss, right? Obviously, we can see the hand there, and he does not have the Luke Cage to play as a counter. Would have been a massive swing if he could. But yeah, this is looking like a very tough battle to come back with when you have a Hawkeye to work with. And listen, Agent Coulson could do a lot, but not here.
Yeah, and it's notable as well that does the opponent try to go heavy into the Widow's Kiss location, right? And this is where White Widow and Widow's Kiss is so interesting because it has that macro element of like, well, they want to get rid of that negative power, right? That -4. And so like you're able to somewhat predict where they're going to play to some degree. I would expect them, as I think KM is realizing, they're going to give right. He throws his big power Ajax mid, and this should be enough. But that werewolf comes over.
That is
and
a awesome play from Das May. Absolute hype Magneto play. He can't believe it. And KM's asking himself, where the heck did he score this Magneto game as we head in with 27 minutes left? Alex, we've gone an hour and a half. The bubs have been coming. They've been going. We have now billions summoned to 2 billions. Anything surprise you right now?
What surprised me is how many bubs that we're winning at the top end of the leaderboard. It's absolutely crazy that Dara has broken the 2 billion bub mark, but it's not to say that he's clear cut in the lead because we still have people in position to catch him with those bubs.
One might say it's a great day to be a Marvel Snap player, huh, Alex? And with that, let's go to check out the leaderboard, the current rankings, where everybody stands. In first place, we've got Dara, JN at 2.2, Nina, Jeff, and Atrix with KM Best and Dexter, all right there. Dara now probably going to be putting on the brakes a tad bit, playing a bit more passive, a little more safe. With the others, seeing what they have to make up, need to start being aggressive. 27 minutes left. Start going all in.
Yeah, you got to go aggressive, right? That's the name of the game in Deadpool's Diner. If you got the bubs to bet as we get to the end there, listen, if you're not first, you're last. You're going to have to start getting aggressive here, and we might see some of the leaders drop off trying to get aggressive, catching up to Dara, right? Because when you got Dara literally $500 million ahead of you, that means you got to be betting $500 million to catch up with him. But he's in a great spot right now as long as he can. We got a big update here as Jeff just moves up just under Dara.
It's getting close. It is getting close here. And I want to give a shout out that Toast had at one point pretty much 0 bumps, close to it. And now it is at 141 million. And all of it's pretty tight. Again, that snowball effect happens very, very quickly. And we could possibly see as we head into the final some big time bets. And dude, 8 cubers are tight. They could be a little bit, anxious plays. But when you have the millions and millions of bubs at stake, I'm telling you, it's something different.
It is pretty crazy. Talk about cube inflation with these bubs. Bubs are going by the hundreds of millions. Here we got billions of bubs running out here. And you know what? As I mentioned before, anything can happen on this home stretch because if you've got lots of bubs, you've also got lots of bubs to lose. So we're going to be cutting back here to a game here. And I got to tell you guys, I'm excited to see how we close out with KM Best
versus Disguised Toast. So we just saw KM come off that brutal, out of nowhere bot loss, right? I believe that happened. So we've got the elite goldfish being Toast on a turn 6. We're at turn 6 here. Look at KM Best's hand. We have a lot of free cards here, a ton of potential and different combinations that we can pull together. You see, he bounced back that Widow's Kiss that he got sent over from the White Widow on Toast's side.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that you can use your hand to absorb some of the damaging cards, right? You often see with the Hood, for instance, you want to take advantage of getting that demon out because it's such a great play, but also hold that Hood in your hand. Being able to bounce back that Widow's Kiss is a fantastic play as well. Where this is tricky is how he can minimize the damage he does to himself via the Hazmat while also providing some, some solid effectiveness with his play to get that werewolf bouncing. It's also worth noting that his deck features a Viper, so he could theoretically drop that Widow's Kiss and then Viper it over, but the problem is he's in a position where all his board slots are full, so that Widow's Kiss is going to become a 0, so he has to be very cognizant of that.
Well said, Alex. Well said. Have you done this before? You're doing great. I want to know what he has over there in Toast's hand. I want to know if he's got himself maybe something like a Storm out of nowhere to close that Limbo early, right? You always have to, sometimes you think you know the deck, but there are more cards than one that can turn off Limbo and all of a sudden change the game, which probably would not be an advantageous move for Toast with the current power total.
The amount of times I've won games because I've played Snow Guard on turn 1 and then, people forget that I'm holding a Hawk going into Limbo is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, right? So I do think that Limbo can represent a bit of a threat. We also have Nocturne, which has emerged as a top meta contender, and Nocturne is very capable of turning off Limbo. I mean, you might get Bar with No Name or something random, but heck, I mean, it's a great card, and Limbo always represents a bit of a threat.
Magic is a card I'm so glad they brought back. In the beta days, early Snap days, it didn't exactly it didn't work at a 5 cost, and they've made it work so well. They have tools to deal with it like Legion. We have a Red Hulk going left side, which is awesome because Alex, unless there's certain combinations played here, which he actually happens to have a lot of them, that Red Hulk's going to grow in power and make it even harder. But I've got to say, he has so many advantageous cards. Did you see what he did here? He's going to boost up the Ajax and then punch him right in the blue shield to take him down potentially is looking like the game plan right now.
Oh, yeah. Francis is going to get punched right in the face here. Cam thinking his play out. I actually really liked his original line. It's so easy to think about, you just punch out that Red Hulk, but I do not think that that the Toast is expecting the Ajax to get destroyed here. So we'll have to see what Cam best decides here. And I have a secondary question. I've heard this word before. It's not a Canadian. What's a chorizo? Is that a little sausage?
Oh, chorizo, my friend. So it is. Yes, that's the best way to say it, my friend. Best way to say it. I thought you said a churro at first. I'm like, you couldn't be more wrong. It's like a sausage. We do have a Shang-Chi hunting their werewolf, and there's going to be a huge flip here from each side. This is actually crazy awesome gameplay.
Yeah,
I love that
awesome.
Game Best plays his best lines first, then he takes it back, thinks about it one more time, right? And look at that crazy flip of a play to win by 4 on the right side. I love that. Tremendous play by KM Best there.
Oh, he's enjoying it too. He's absolutely going crazy with it. That is a big bottle of water. He is pumped up. Look at him. That was actually a fantastic play to send their Ajax to the moon and then crashing back down. Absolutely fantastic.
He is hyped. KM Best is absolutely pumped up, as you can see, and growing up in the billions of bubs as we have 15 minutes left as we're going to be looking for our next game and coming to it with Disguised Toast versus Regis. You'll love to see the two card gamers go head-to-head. And fun fact, they've gone head-to-head before in the past in past card games.
Yeah, it's honestly two goats, right? Two goats of card gaming here. I'll be interested to see if if Toast wants to get rid of Danger Room. Like, Danger Room is kind of tilted. This is wild. He's thinking about throwing down the Green Goblin into Savage Line. If Jeff moves, that's going to clog that location because Green Goblin's going to activate, jump on over, and then Titania's going to come with him. Otherwise, that Green Goblin might get stuck. This is a risky play.
Talk about a play that is a pretty big brain play for Toast to be doing. He's getting comfortable as we've now had an hour and 45 in. Toast is getting comfortable with the mechanics of Marvel Snap, and you're seeing it right here. Doing a risky play, and it did not pay off for Toast. You know, that is playing with fire. You're going to sometimes get rewarded, but most of the time, it can burn you like it did there. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. He's got the two movers there. We've got Magic, Hazmat, Shang-Chi, and Nebula for Toast. What do you like the plays here?
I mean, I don't know now. Like this is pretty rough. You could potentially, I would probably Magic mid and try to play. I was just going to say Nebula right and try to aggressively commit right and hopefully lock them out by turn 5. But the other option, honestly, and this is what this mode does, is you retreat because you've doubled your stakes now by staying in this game. It could have been just a move where you just get out of there.
The tough two things. First of all, I don't blame Toast for the left play because the thing is, I thought maybe we just would have gone the Volt there, right? But yes, you have the moving cards, but to fill out that location early, typically, I get it. It's the movement cards, but Toast maybe wasn't thinking that. Here's the sketch, is you have Nocturne that can change Limbo to in the game. I hope that Toast reads it. He's actually doing so right now. Funny timing. And the Volt can or can't matter, right? So if Nocturne turns off Limbo, the Volt matters. If it doesn't matter. So kind of interesting here, man. Regis has a lot of the power, if you will.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's also notable that the vault opens on turn 7. It's a very tricky situation for Disguised Toast, and this is where the Deadpool's Diner is so punishing, because what was originally a potentially 10 million bub retreat is turning into a 50 million bub, like just absolute throttling, right? Like White Widow could make a difference here. And I think he's coming up with the idea of like, okay, what if I White Widow and potentially prevent Nocturne from being able to come here? But I'm pretty sure Regis is going to leave available space open. It's a very difficult position to be in for Disguised Toast. And once again, you're betting more bubs with each individual turn.
Love the White Widow play here. I think this is a really good play to go on the Volt. I do dig it. So he's going to go with the White Widow to that Hazmat. Double up the negative power here. And we have the Darkhawk going down. It does go up to 17. Because all the different rock sliding Korg plays that we've seen. But he's able to push down a good amount of negative power. And keep in mind, Regis doesn't know if Luke Cage could be sitting on Toast's side.
Yeah, I mean, here, do you just take the game? take the gamble. You throw down Red Hulk. I don't know. Like, this seems like I don't see a winning line here, because if Nocturne comes over, he can play an additional card there. Not that he even would have to, because he's only going -4, right? He's still up by 2. This is such a difficult play. Yeah, he's making the correct call, I think, here by retreating.
Yeah, this is a get the heck out of Dodge play. You get out of there while you can. Because typically, it's not all the time, but even he's confused. The guy plays millions of snap games. But excellent lifeguard is back. He is back, and I believe that is I believe that's one of ours. Yeah, Das Medi.
Yeah, I believe so as well. And we also have the Why Me on Dexter here.
It's good to see Dexter. Good to see Dexter back, man. We got 100 million on the line too on turn 6. Final play.
Come on, Dex. Come on, buddy. Let's show him what you're made of.
This is a lot too. We're getting +6.
All right, so he's thinking about it. Dexter does a lot of self-talking, making sure. Sometimes I've seen Dexter even talk himself out of a play. Sometimes looks at the chat, sometimes doesn't. Love watching Dexter play Marvel Snap, and good old Dexter goes to Clintar. Doesn't matter, doesn't change too much. The Magneto play could be. It's not going to do a lot because you got the Tribunal on the board.
Yeah, Tribunal does a great job of kind of mitigating the effect of cards like Magneto. You just want that pure power, and it looks like it's going to come down for Dexter. Almost a cast roll there, but a good solid 100 million bub victory for Dexter, who is in the middle of the pack here. Hopefully he's separating Jeff from the others. But again, with this mode, it's one loss from Jeff and perhaps 1 or 2 wins from Nina or Dara, and they're back on top as we go into our final 4 minutes, Cozy, and we're taking a look at Regis.
Regis first, Pawnee Pawn with 4 minutes left. All I know is I'm going to be spending some time after this writing a nice little letter to Dexter, how he has let me down and disappointed me. So thank you, Dexter. Love you. And we have the Regis with the Darkhawk deck going into an early super flow.
I think the plan here is to allow Asteroid M to pull the Nocturne and just
pull it in and change
it.
It.
Yeah, because I was looking at that too. I'm like, hey, super flow. You don't want to do that. But it's like, oh, yeah, you got Asteroid M. We've actually seen a lot of Asteroid M today, which is kind of bizarre. But, I mean, yeah, Nocturne is so flexible. I wonder if he's hoping that Pawnee plays into Vormir, blows up a card, and then he can go in there with the Nocturne and then potentially turn it off so he can play more consistently.
And keep in mind, Nocturne only has the ability to move once, but if it moves, it changes, right? We do know that. We've seen that. One of those unique, mechanics in the game. So Jeff played, here's the Nocturne, dragged Asteroid M, changes it. Can we get something like a Lake Ellis? And that's going to benefit really just the Korg on the board at the given moment. We have turn 5, kind of a clear-cut Darkhawk play, unless he wants to, destroy the Vormir.
My heart is breaking for Regis. I don't know if you could hear, but he was saying this might be his last shot at Big Bubbage. He's going for it, I think. He's saying he needs to make something happen. He can't play conservative. He's got to win Bubs, and he's got to win them off Pawnee, so he wants to go all in here and see if he can make a dent and at least catch up here. Maybe get to $1 billion. He's holding pretty steady at 722 million Bubs at 7th place.
Bubbage is the word of the day. I love Bubbage. I got to say it. I'm going to be saying that on future videos. That's for sure, man. So we've got the final 2-minute warning here as we have Regis playing Pawnee Pawn. Jeff has a comfortable 6. Jeff's got a massive lead right now. It's actually looking very comfortable for him. Unless Dara, I have no idea, somehow smacked it out and got a lot of bubs, away. We have Pawnee Pawn playing Regis on her side and her vantage point as we have the last turn of the game.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a pretty huge play with the copycat here. It looks like it hit a Mystique, so she's going to be able to copy the Darkhawk and then use the Sage to kind of finish it off there. It's going to be a big card. It's going to be a big card. I wonder if Regis is expecting her to be able to trade mid. Nocturne can still move. We did have Nocturne move because of the location there that kind of swung it over. But at the end of the day, I wonder what Regis's plan is here. And I like Sage mid too, because it's going to take advantage of a lot of those differing powers and be absolutely massive.
Yes, and near 27,000 people are watching Marvel Snap live right now. Love to see it for a game now that we're hitting on the stride of year 2. Now we've got the last play with the copycat. Big and Sage for the 50 million. Will it work out? The Nocturne moves, the Jeff moves. She's stunned. Strange Academy, not going to change anything of that nature. And here's the copycat.
Yeah, it should be enough. That base power is going to just elevate
so massive.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy. Absolute crazy. Regis falling to Honey Pond, we have 1 minute left here, and we have KM Best gonna probably wrap things up here as we have a minute, and he's going against Dexter here. So it is a KM versus Dexter. I said that thing about the Colossus avatar earlier, and look at Dexter. He's got a Colossus avatar.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much have the exact same haircut, so it makes sense here. And Cam's probably thinking out this turn very carefully because both of them want to maximize the amount of bubs that they can get here to jump up on the ladder any way they can as we get into our final 40 seconds or so. I really like the position that Cam's in here, that Widow's Kiss and all these Mysterios. There's not a lot of space for Dexter to operate with here, but also there are still winning lines. There's still winning lines for Dexter for sure.
Yeah, Dexter and KM, listen, it may not be for first, but this game will determine 5th and 6th place. It looks like, right? It's right there on the nose. Look at the power difference there of Bubs. This will determine who will win, and they want that top 5 finish. So this does matter here. Time is expiring. As the time expires on the end turn for this match, we're going to see this finish out. We're going to see who gets 5th or 6th, as we do want to give a massive congratulations to our winner with 3 billion. Here in a moment. We'll get to that. We do have KM really thinking about it here. Here's the finishing play, the final play line. It's a Nocturne followed by, wait for it, the change of location to Shang-Chi that does not activate to Demon. Okay.
It's just not enough for KM, as it is a victory here for Dexter. The unlikely win. Not a lot of space to work with, but he did ultimately pull it off for the 100 million bubs.
Going to the top 5, it seems like. And guys, with that, the time is expiring. Everyone's on their final game. And, oh, man, I'm excited to talk about this finish, as we've got in very first place those that voted for Jeff. He has won his first Conquerors event with the 3 billion bubs total earned. After that, we have Dara in 2nd place. 3rd place is Nina is Noob. Atrix in 4th. KM and Dexter will have to see that updated leaderboard. And 7th is Regis.
Yeah, Jeff celebrating here on camera. I mean, good on him. 3 billion bubs. That is truly remarkable. The ultimate conqueror, Jeff Hoagland.
Jeff Hoagland getting the W on the first time event here for Deadpool's Diner. And keep in mind, this is a limited time game mode, so we'll have it return in a different fashion. We've learned a couple things today about, betting your bubs, being safe with your bubs, and overall, it was fun. We had some crazy gameplay here and there, and I love the player v player matchups, but overall, it was really fun to see these people who have not played Snap in a while come back to the event. What'd you think, Alex?
I thought it was a great event, honestly. And the idea of Deadpool's Diner being kind of like an avenue for this fun competitive Snap environment, I think is great, with the wagering and the way that the bombs could get really high, really low. There's so much stakes. I love it because, the top position is never safe with bubs. If you gamble it all away, it's all over. So I really like the way that this format was set up, and I think we should return to it again.
I personally think that there's a great place for competitive play in Marvel Snap because there's a lot of really cool interactions that can happen in big brain plays. I want to see an in-person event one day because you could read the player, right? They snap and you stare at them and you're like, do they've got the card? Do they have the gameplay? And then your snap face is what we'll call it, is going to end up mattering. But overall today we saw the traditional Snap streamers end up taking those top spots in the leaderboard. We saw a lot of Darkhawk. We didn't see that much Airsham, as we have stated before, and a couple creative deck builds. I want to give a shout out to those that went in the experimentation, cooking in the kitchen for Deadpool's Diner.
Yeah, it's great to see a nice, diverse meta in a competitive tournament here, and hopefully that continues into the future for Marvel's Snap. And guys, honestly, that event was remarkable. Thank you so much for joining us. Cozy, closing remarks.
We got a lot more to talk about, Alex. We're not closing anything yet. We got to look at the leaderboard. We've got more to say right now, and I can't wait to just talk about it all in the Snapchat here on Monday. But we've got the leaderboard, the final results. Jeff with the 3 billion. Representing his Jeff Bezos there. And we've got Dara at 2.3. Nina coming in 3rd. My vote Dexter in 5th. Atrix in 4th. KM Regis. And then towards the bottom, if you want to look at it, we do have Dan Sackerl, Fan, Disguised Toast coming in 11th, Alex. What's the most shocking placement here?
The most shocking placement is Regis at number 7 because I want my boy to win it. I needed that variant, but it's okay, Regis. I forgive you. Actually, a remarkable finish at 800 million bobs. But honestly, kudos to all the players who are coming into Marvel Snap for the first time in a long time and performing as well as they can against honestly some professional and top tier players. They did a remarkable job.
Absolutely. And I know one thing is that they are listening for feedback on both alliances that are coming out again on the 30th. We have the Twitch drops now, but also they are going to continue to probably refine this game mode. And I'm excited to see the different ways that we can take this, right? This is Deadpool's Diner. We're cooking right here on the Master Chef Kitchen, but I want to see the different themes as we go through different seasons and what have you ahead. And Deadpool versus Wolverine set a great stage for what's next in Marvel. The future is bright, and if the future is bright for Marvel in the MCU, I think it's going to be bright here in Marvel Snap.
Yeah, there's a lot to love in Marvel Snap, and we got a lot of new things coming as well. As you said, it's a great time to be a Marvel Snap player, and I can't wait for the continuation of competitive Snap, more Conquerors events, and of course, the opportunity for weekly new cards and all the excitement that comes around those as well, Cozy.
Another huge congratulations to Jeff for taking the win. And buddy, I just have to say, after 90 weeks of never missing a episode of the Snapchat, I'm just glad to be able to host with you. I'm glad to be here with you. It's just so much fun being able to do this with one of my best buddies here. And guys, thank you for watching today's event. Hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure to check out Deadpool's Diner. Download Marvel Snap today on the Google Play Store, the iOS Store, the Apple Store, and check it out for yourselves. Good luck out there. As always, guys, thank you for listening to us, and happy snapping, y'all. Have a good one. Bye-bye now. So there you go, guys. If you're still here, which for those that made it this far, comment down below. You're awesome. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, shout out to all the players that competed. Cool to get, players that are into Snap, that are bigger creators to play, and overall was fun. Some stuff I would fix in the future, but that's a discussion for another day. Have a good one. Have a great one. Till the next one. Happy snapping.